Hey, welcome to the video. Here's what I need you to do. Smash the like button, subscribe to the page, and check out the podcast below in the description.
This video is sponsored by Indeed.com/ham, where right now you can get a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/ham. I think if he had played all year long, that he would be having the most promising season from a rookie quarterback right now. I don't know if he'd be having the best season, but the reason I say most promising is because I think he'd be doing things physically that Mac Jones just cannot do. And I think he'd be by far more productive than any of the other rookie quarterbacks. It'd be between him and Mac Jones in this conversation. And Mac might have better numbers in that instance then, but I think Trey would be doing things every single week because he started 2 games, and in both starts, he's done things that most players just can't do. He's done things that make you go, okay, that is at least the physical talent. Whether or not Kyle Shanahan overpaid, he is displaying some of the physical tools that are worthy of where he was drafted. I think he'd be better than Trevor Lawrence right now. I think he'd be better than Justin Fields right now. He'd be better than Zach Wilson right now. That's my belief based on watching him start 2 games in this offense with this group of players. And I think part of it is what we talked about with his interceptions. I think the 2 interceptions he's thrown, and who knows how many he'd have if he's had 1 every start, so he, might have 17 at this point.
Well, you know who leads the league? You know who leads the league
in picks?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and he's got 17. So
yep.
Over 1 a game. I think even those interceptions, like we talk about, are plays that they're not a result of physical errors so much as they are a result of mental, like trying to do something that you don't need to try to do. And I think that's an area where quarterbacks can learn really quickly if given the chance to learn the difference. It'd be one of those classic, like week 6s. Kyle Shanahan told us before the game, all he wanted to see was Trey throw it away in that spot. You hear that a lot with young quarterbacks. We fawn. Oh, he just threw it away in that spot. Great decision. Don't try to do too much. And I think the interceptions he's thrown are examples of a guy maybe not forcing the issue because he feels a pressure to do too much, but just trying to find his way, make some plays that physically he's been able to make in years past. And, who knows? If he's starting every week, maybe that interception he threw against the Texans, maybe he makes the decision to do something else faster. Maybe he sells the fake better, but maybe he just checks it down or throws the ball away if that's the 15th or 16th game he's played instead of the second game he started.
Well, Lawrence has 17. And he's played every game.
10 touchdowns.
Zach Wilson and Justin Fields have both been injured during the season. Now, Trey, he's played 2.5 games, and he got injured after his first start.
Yep.
So I don't know there's a guarantee, given the way he plays and given he would take a lot more hits probably than Mac has actually taken a decent amount of hits, but they're pocket hits. He's not running. Would he have gotten injured? And maybe he would have learned quicker who he can, and maybe that's where he tried to build on the second game from that first game of knowing when he can run. He's like, I don't want to take hits because there was a scramble up the middle / it might have just been a quarterback draw where the guys were kind of coming. He hit the ground before they got there. Now he's not a slider, but he's a diver, and then those guys couldn't hit him, which always makes me nervous, right? Yeah. Now, I don't want you to do something you can't do, but you see how easy Kyler Murray does a slide and get up, or Aaron Rodgers, they are protecting themselves, Like when you dive, you're Cam Newton, like you're gonna take hits.
Think about it, think about it from Kyler's perspective. He has always played against bigger players his whole life, probably, right?
His entire life.
Trey has predominantly played against players not as big as him.
And he was a star baseball player, right? So he slides.
And that's true. Yeah.
I think there's an element
Kyler.
there.
Yep.
But I do think it's fair to say, like, Zach Wilson's his ratio, 12 games started, 11 picks. Fields was 10 games started, 10 picks. So, Trey's 2-2. Like, turning the ball over, Matt Stafford has a bunch of picks. Like, now, where he makes it up, where I'd say he's the difference, like, he has 38 touchdowns.
See, that to me would be the difference between
Mac has 21 touchdowns. Do you think if Trey had started 16 games, assuming he could stay healthy? I don't know if he does.
I do.
Maybe 25, but they don't really play that way.
No,
or
but
is that just because Jimmy? I don't know. We're going to find out next year.
I think his threat to run, we'd add a couple running touchdowns, I think, on the goal line. I think it would open up the passing game on the goal line. But I think that he would have, this to me would be the difference between, and I should mention Davis Mills too. Davis Mills is second among rookie quarterbacks in touchdown passes with 13. But I think if you're going to mention the interceptions of these rookies, you should mention the touchdowns too. So Lawrence is 10 touchdowns, 17 picks. Zach Wilson's 8 touchdowns, 11 picks. Justin Fields is 7 touchdowns, 10 picks. I think Lance is 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, by the way. I think Lance, while he would throw picks, I think he'd have more touchdowns than interceptions. And I don't think it'd be like 13-10 Davis Mills. I think it'd be in the Mac Jones range.
Yeah, and you're right. He'd have some rushing touchdowns. Now, Zach Wilson has, to my count, 4 rushing touchdowns, and Fields only has 2. But like those guys are athletic players, right?
Yeah. I think he'd be a better runner today. I thought after the draft.
Listen, I'm not trying to cape for Trevor Lawrence. I just kind of went with conventional wisdom, this great prospect. I can't pretend I watched him that much beside the playoff games just because their regular season games are hard to watch, right? The Clemson over the Trevor Lawrence era, like Boston College, UNC, it sucks. He has been terrible. Now, their team is like of all the teams, he is by far in the biggest train wreck. Hell, the Bears, like they've been winning some games, right? The Jets are playing hard. Hell, they gave the Jags are a joke. I mean, everyone's been forwarding us the thing on Twitter how they're showing up in clown masks. Like it's, do you almost give them a pass this year? Like I don't even know what to make of it.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it either. I do think the times I've watched him, it's at least been obvious to me, like physically, he still looks.
But that's never been
super athletic.
He's tall. He's got a good arm. He can run.
So, I mean, you'd like for him to. It's a mess. They were a mess.
How many teams, Guy, have back-to-back number 1 overall picks? A lot of teams, like the Bengals, are a good example. They get Joe Burrow, number 1 pick. He gets hurt in the middle of the season, so they have to start terrible quarterbacks. They're terrible. They still draft 5. You know, when you draft back-to-back number 1 overall, and they're going to get number 1 overall kind of easily this year. Like they're cruising to the number 1 overall. That's pretty embarrassing.
The last team to do so, it's happened 3 times. 76-77, the Bucks were a joke then.
Yucks.
They were a joke again in the 80s when it happened.
It happened to them twice?
Happened to them twice. And then it happened in 94-95 to the Bengals. Can you remember any guesses who they went?
Well,
defense?
one of them would have been the Oregon quarterback, right? Oh, no, that was
later. That was Achille later.
Dan Wilkinson?
Correct.
The
other one's
Carter.
easier. Yep. Great knowledge. Great fucking knowledge. Yeah.
Remember when running backs used to go number 1 overall?
Well,
Gettleman's like, I tried.
One of them, I could swear it was Arian Foster playing the guy in the movie Draft Day. His name was like Ray Donovan or something. But he goes like top 10 because they have 2 1s. Because remember, Costner traded 3 1s to move from like 7 to 1 and then got all 3 of them back.
And moved back?
Yeah, then moves back. And then the Seahawks take Bo Callahan and then he gets his running back, who's like his dad played for the Browns, whatever. Yeah, that's it. Those were the old days.
Is that when the one coach at like Iowa, who's Bo Callahan's coach, lied to him on the phone? Like, he's a great kid.
Wisconsin. Yeah, no one came to his birthday party.
He loves football. And then he calls him back. He's like, tell me about his birthday party.
P. Diddy as Bo Callahan's agent.
That's pretty
cool. Yeah, man, I said before the draft that I thought whoever the Niners drafted had the best at quarterback. If they took the quarterback, would have the best chance to be the offensive rookie of the year. It didn't mean he'd be guaranteed to be better than the rest of them. But given Kittle and Debo and the run game and all of that, he'd just be best set up. Well, it turned out, it'd be hard to have a better year from a productivity standpoint than 68%, 3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 12 picks, and maybe 11 wins for Mac Jones. I'm not saying the Niners would have more wins if Trey had been the starting quarterback, but I'm confident enough in him right now, based on what we've seen, to say that he would be having the most promising rookie year, maybe the best one, but definitely the most promising. And I think, would you agree with this? Like, if we drew a line and said, tell me the quarterbacks having a good rookie season on one side and having a bad rookie season on the other side. On the good side, you'd put Mac Jones, and you'd probably put Davis Mills.
Yeah.
And the rest of them you'd put on the other side?
I think you would just, to be more, Trevor, you might put bad, but I think you'd have to put the circumstance. I think Justin Fields and Zach Wilson would just be like limited information. Hard to kind of tell. It's hard for
just
me to
because
make
they've
a
each only
judgment.
played 12 games.
And the team sucks.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they suck. I'm just saying, has it gone well or poorly?
Yeah.
For
I would
me,
say Zach poorly, Fields not great.
Okay. I think
Trevor
Lance would be
poorly.
in the it's gone well. That's my ultimate point is I think Lance would be in the smaller category, which is it's gone well category.
It would have been difficult. I would say this. It would have been because to me, Mac Jones isn't even close to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. It would have taken for him to win that award because obviously, I mean, Jamar Chase, who is having a historic rookie season, could Trey Lance have had 28 touchdowns, including running total, and 12, 13 picks, and they win 11 games. But he's the Niners quarterback and doing explosive shit, and this game shouldn't even matter this weekend. They'd already be in the playoffs.
That's the irony. If Jimmy if Jimmy doesn't get hurt, they might beat the Titans and already be in the playoffs. You wouldn't be getting Trey Lance right now, but you would be guaranteed playoffs.
It's hard for me to say that because
I know.
Jimmy played well in spurts after he threw the bad pick in that game, so it's I don't know.
I know.
Honestly, we've all seen Jimmy with healthy fingers, and he made that same pass. Even though that one slow motion was weirder than others because the way it came out of his hand. Yeah. But I feel like a Jimmy apologist here, but yeah, it's hard to know.
No, I understand.
It's been a bizarre. I think big picture, it's pretty nuts. A lot of random bad shit had to happen for that. They should not be in this position. It's pretty disappointing that they have to fight for the last game of the season to get in. They are better than this.
We talked about this on Sunday, but it's a pretty big failure if they missed the playoffs and didn't develop Trey Lance. Now, you could argue, well, maybe he did develop sitting. And I would say you might be right about that. We won't know the answer to that until a month into next season. But if they missed the playoffs and didn't play Trey Lance, and then next year we're in early October, and it's well, you know what? Trey Lance just almost there. You go, well, okay, so are you going to miss the playoffs in 22? I would say this, regardless of what happens now, but especially if they miss the playoffs this year, they've then got to make the playoffs next year. Which again,
good thing they get a third place schedule.
It's true. I would say this. I wouldn't write that. I think they very well could make the playoffs next year. I'm not saying they can't because they could. I think they could have made the playoffs this year with Trey Lance as their quarterback. I think they could be in the same position.
NFC gets the home game next year for the 17th game.
Oh, that's big. So, but my point is just that's a conversation for another time, but that will be the expectation going into the year. You didn't play Trey Lance next year, so hopefully he's ready to go and you can go be, a playoff level team in 2022.
Agreed.